Okay, all right. In this class, we're going to be treating relationship. So, like so we're going to be creating a user model. We're going to be creating a user model. So, a user can have many tasks, but one task can belong to one user. So, basically, a user should have many tasks, and different users should have different tasks. So, uh, this is basically what I'm trying to say. This is basically what I'm trying to say here. I mean, you can have a user and you can have tags like tax A, and you can have another tax, and you can have another tax, and you can have another tax here. So this one could be tax B, and this one could be tax C, and this one could be tax D. So now a user can have many tags. A user can have many tags. You can see that. So one to many. So this is a one to many relationship. Why tags can belong to one user. Can you see that? So how do we implement this? So we can create a user model. So I can say user.model.js. So for this model, we are going to be needing this user model later on for authentication. So let's say we want the user to log in, or we want the user to register an account. And so and we need it to authenticate the user actually. So if I say const user schema is equal to, okay, I think, so you get your schema from what? Mongo. So you use the schema is used for creating our database. The way our database is going to be, we use it to define how our database is going to look like. So we can say, then we can now say const user schema. So it's just basically the same thing that was done for our tags. So the user could have something like, let's say email. Let's just use email for now. String. So let's use email and what? Password. So password to be a string. Then I want to export const, let's say user is equal to what? Mongoose.model, then user and user schema. So now, so we have this now. So now, but for the tags now, we have to make a what? We have to make a change to the tags. So the tags, each time we create a tags, we need to pass the user ID, like the user object ID, into the tag so that there can be a connection between the user and the tags. What I mean here is each time you create a tags, like you should have your user ID embedded in that tag. So you could have user AID or something like that. So you could have the user ID always embedded inside the tags so that what's the refresh button here? So it's still connecting. So so we can go to our tags.model. So we can define we can say we want to get user. Now what do we want to get? So this user is of type mongoose. If you can see this, so we want to say that it is of this type, is of type object ID. So this user here will be of type uh object ID, schema type, yeah, and then sorry, schema, and it is of types. So I will want to reference the object ID. So this object ID here. So what we'll be sending into that user is what? This object ID. So we are going into the type Mongo schema, and we are checking the types. We are saying it should be of type what? Object ID. Then what are we referencing? So we need to pass in our reference to. So we want to reference, we want this tags. Anytime we create a tags, we set in the title, we set in the duration, then and we're passing in what? That ID, which is this ID here. And we're passing in any of this ID here. We want it to reference what? That user that is created. So who are we referencing? We are referencing user. And where is the user? This is the user here. So should it be required? Yeah. So it should be required actually. So I think we are good to go. So okay. So we would be sending what? For now, we would be sending the user ID during task creation. For now, we would be sending the user ID during task creation. So if I want to create a task, let me create a user first. Basically, you don't actually have to create a user. So just let's just how will I put it? So this is how it is defined for now. So your task is connected to your user. So your user, so you could create multiple tasks with a particular user ID. So now the next thing we are going to be treating is authentication, so that I can show you how we can create user after registration and login. So see you in the next class.